Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Scourge League 3.16. In this episode, I have the Endless Heist event. So I have today 15 tips I want to go over for the Endless Heist event. So these are tips for leveling, the Endless Heist, loot, what to do, all these tips. I have 15 that I want to go through, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this helps anyone trying to do the Endless Heist, and the first one is going to tell you why you should do Endless Heist. Tip number 1. So there was actually a patch, 3.16.2 hotfix. The Kieran GGG significantly increased the experience gained from killing heist monsters in areas below level 68. So, before this patch, for the first 40 hours of the heist event, leveling before 68 was extremely slow. Significantly sounds amazing, so I highly recommend leveling now and trying it. And now we'll go into more of my tips, real tips for heist. This is just, they actually buffed it. Mid-event, you should probably get 50 now. Easy mystery box. Nice. Alright, yeah, so I'm 93, doing pretty well in the Endless Heist event, but now I want to go into tip number 2. So, we have, in the beginning, you'll be faced with contracts you have to run, and you're level 1 to 4, you have no dash, you're kind of weak. My recommendations are, be careful of Bunker and Records Office, because these are very scary in the beginning when you don't have phasing or a dash. Tip number 3, it's actually better to run contracts of your level or one level higher to really get a lot of XP. So I found that the flat XP from the contracts while you were leveling up, so this might be fixed with their patch of like significantly increasing the XP, but basically if you were 48, it would be way better to do a 48 than it would be to do a 46. Even though there's like no XP loss, the base flat XP amount, the jump, was massive. So they might have fixed this and made it slightly better, but still, I recommend running the contracts of your level or one level higher. And then you'll say, but Ethan, how do I get a contract one level higher? Wakano actually sells contracts up to 67, starting at 47. So when you're 47, he'll sell you a contract 48, and then you can use him from 48 to 67. So this should have been from tier 1, and then they wouldn't have needed to buff it, as you would have been guaranteed a level 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 67. You would be at maps, and it would have been absolutely amazing. But instead they buff the XP from the base, so doing my strat will be even better now. So I highly recommend doing contracts of your level or one level higher, especially when you unlock Wakano at 47, which he'll be selling you 48s. Tip number 4, Adia can sell you contracts here, but she sells you them 5 levels under you. So when you're level 6, she's selling you one level 1. Basically, she's completely useless. Very useless unless you run out of contracts, and then she can sell you them 5 levels under you to help you get back into the game. But if you run out of contracts, that would mean you were failing contracts, not that, because if you run a contract, you're guaranteed a contract at the end of your level. So yeah, anyways, she sells them 5 levels under you up to 75. So when you're level 80, they'll be 75. This is useless in my opinion, except for maybe loot, etc., maybe leveling up a skill, but using it for XP, terrible. Tip number 5. So, the order of contract area for experience gain. So I find I get the fastest experience in tunnels and repository due to the heavy spam of monsters. Bunkers and Records Office is really great too, because after lockdown they send out all those soldiers and they go group up on doors, so they're really easy to get good groupings of monsters. But this was only good when I got my Montegrul's Grasp with the explosions, because when they stack up and then they explode, it's really good. So without that, the clear wasn't that good, because they're actually beefier than the other monsters in the other contracts. But with my build, I had no clear issue, and so this was actually more monsters, more XP, but I still find Tunnels Repository better. And then there's next, Laboratory Prohibited Library. This one's interesting because I feel like it has less monsters, but each monster gives more experience. So it still feels really good too. And then there's Smuggler's Den Underbelly. This is the one where you have the artless assassins that are shooting the arrows with the fire, and it's really annoying because they're like leaving explosive projectiles on the walls and shit. It's really annoying. I put this one last, yeah. The first part to tip number 6 is you should unlock your reward rooms even if the reward sucks, and you should also take the reward even if it sucks. And that is because these reward rooms actually turn into spawners and mob generators after the lockdown. And so you want to unlock as many of these rooms as possible, and then they'll actually be spawning monsters post-lockdown. So I'll open these 3 rooms, and then I'll trigger lockdown and show you what I'm talking about. So yeah, now when we enter lockdown, those will turn into spawner rooms. A second thing is these are actually the spawn platforms, so you can see the shit spawning, and you can find where to stand to get them to spawn, because if you're in the same room as these, they don't spawn. So you actually have to be in a different room too. So now my advice is going to be like this. You can wait around for a bit after going into lockdown to allow the contract to spawn at least 2 waves of monsters. This ensures when you're escaping that there's going to be enough monsters that you reach your cap amount of experience, because back in Heist League they actually capped the amount of experience you can get per spawner. And to know when you've reached the maximum amount of experience from a spawner, when you're killing the monsters and you hover your experience, you'll see that you're not gaining any. Okay, so you see these aren't spawning. If I stand out here, it's still not far enough. What if it's in here? So these have spawned. You see how those were spawning monsters? These it turned into spawners. I get shit. Now while I'm sitting in here, I'm fairly certain that those ones spawn. Yeah, now you see how I stand in this room and those start to spawn? I'm literally right next to a spawner, and this is what I'm talking about. And I'm actually gaining experience right next to it. And I was leveling up my gems, and we've already reached the maximum. Okay, so then we can run back to this one. This one's now generated because I left the room and I allowed it to spawn. I'm pretty sure that just by going into this room, I allowed it to spawn. So if we wait in here for a bit, we can get that. Be careful of this guy, the one with the big ice ball. That's actually cold damage. So yeah, we could wait in here for a second, and then you can run back to the end. You don't have to do this part, but like there's a lot of monsters that spawn, and this is where you get your experience. It's really good. So then I'll show you. We have the 3 loot rooms that we looted, and they also turned into spawners. So there's gonna be a lot of monsters. It's pretty sick. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less. Kind of depends. You could also wait at the doorway to make them keep spawning. We have all these monsters in the open as well. Explosions are pretty sick. They're really sick. Really good clear. Kill all this shit. Okay, Benevolent Guardian, let's move on. So you can see the XP I've got in multiple percents, and we're at 93, so this is really, really good. Really incredible. Now we can clear this doorway. Oh my god, man. Okay, we cleared the doorway. You can see how much shit I killed. And then they spawned in this room. Clear them out. We've gained 4% XP. 5%. Something like that. So fat. And those are all the loot rooms. You can see that's where all the monsters were. That main area. And there is some extra stuff. And it's nice that we allowed them all to spawn, so when we're running out, we're reaching max XP without waiting for them to spawn next to the monsters. And look at how many monsters there are. This is absolutely disgusting. We literally gained 6% XP in just this one map. We leveled up a bunch of our gems. It's really good. And this is what I'm recommending for leveling. This is how I've been leveling so fast. Already 93. This is how people are going to be going for demis for sure. It's just the way Heist works. Can we get 15 likes on this video because of 15 tips? So I made tip number 7 a short version of tip number 6. So basically, Tunnel's repository, do the loot rooms, and open the loot room even if it's bad, to enable the room for spawning. Big loot, big money. I run my contracts white or magic. I don't bother alking them and doing them rare because I find that there's obviously a higher chance of hitting bad mods that make it more difficult, and then one death is a lot of XP loss. It's not worth the time, and you don't gain very much. Because the quantity doesn't affect the chests. It only affects the monsters, which we are farming the monsters at least, but it's just not worth it. We don't need it, and it's better to alk blueprints for the you can see here that when you alk you get alert level reduction, so this isn't that good on a contract because you don't have that much to open, and you can already open pretty much everything usually except for Vendiri because he increases the amount and doesn't decrease how much. But on blueprints this is really good because you have more to open and you have the stacking with the heist crew gear as well, so I really recommend doing it on blueprints because there's more to loot, but not for contracts. You don't need it, and then it's easier to farm XP without the alk. Tip number 9 is like tip number 8, but it's now only about blueprints. So run your blueprints alked to drastically increase the amount of loot you can open. So for example, a magic one, 9% alert level reduction, and then we have 30%. You can roll 30% alert level reduction. So this is like 20% more of the loot opened. That's absolutely insane. You also have the time before lockdown, technically, and the alive reinforcements. I highly recommend alking your blueprints, but don't do minus res if you can't handle it, or the minus player res. Yeah, those are really bad. Curses can be pretty bad, like ally weakness or vulnerability. That's my advice. Tip number 10. It's my rogue gear. So for rogue gear in the beginning, I don't want to overcomplicate it. When you're leveling up to 81, 82, just pick up any of the rogue gear that you find and put it on your people and craft, like just make it magic and have any mods. It doesn't matter. It's just slightly useful. It's slightly better than nothing on your rogue gear, on your crew. So like just pick up a level 2, just random shit and put them on, and you can keep them magic. For example, duplicate currency, sure, like small little shit like that. The extra rarity on the implicit of the brooch, things like that matter, and it doesn't cost you very much. So I highly recommend that. Then once you get to 82, once you've made it to monster level 82, you can actually start crafting real rogue gear. So I picked up level 5 bases. What I mean by that is a level 5 cloak, whisper woven cloak, item level 82 plus. And the one, I'm going to talk about these in order of priority. The ones I did first because of what I wanted. So I did the cloak first because I wanted to go for the tier 1 or 2 of reduced raising of alert level from opening chests, because I wanted to put this on all my people to be able to open more chests, to be able to open more reward rooms, to be able to get more monsters, to be able to get more experience. This seemed broken. My gear actually enables this, especially on blueprints when you're able to open more reward rooms, which means more monsters, which means more XP per blueprint. Yeah. So then, I like opening more. The one after this, so this one I just rolled with alterations or chaos, and you're rolling for tier 1 or 2 of the reduced raising of alert level. It wasn't that bad. Then I did the tools. So this one's special. So I rolled +1 to level of all jobs to increase their job levels, to increase their perk. So you can see that the heist perk for Vendiri is 16% chance for duplicate currency, 34% more. And this is from raising the level to 663. When I don't use the tool that gives 1 level, it's only 14 and 30. So you can see that it does increase the heist perk. And so I've done this on a few of my people that I like the most for their effects. Karst has reduced less raising of alert level. I don't have the +1, but I want the +1, so this is where I would want it. But I'll say the most important first. I think Gianna is the most important one to have the level of all jobs or level to deception, because she increases the reduced blueprint revealing cost, which you can use in Wakano or Gianna to reveal your blueprints and save on rogue markers. Highly recommend that. Huge discount for revealing, for giving her 1 level. It's the best one of all of them. It's the one I recommend first. And then, if you wanted the extra +1s, Karst is a good +1 because of the less raising of alert level. Instead of getting the tier 1 of chance to not generate alert level on opening a chest using the skill, the job skill, I'd go for the +1 on him. Also, you can do Ninit. for less raising of alert level. You can do Tulina for less raising of alert level. Gianna for the reduced blueprint revealing cost. She's number 1. Vindiri for the more duplicate contents and the more raising of alert level. This one is pretty low tier. Honestly, these ones are higher. Karst, Nenit, Tulina are better than Vindiri. And then Isla. You can increase the time before lockdown. I didn't do that, but you can. I had a pretty good one already that I found on the ground. So I'd say most important is Gianna, and then the rest tier 1 or 2. After that, you can just craft tier 1 or 2, chance to not generate alert level on opening a chest using their job skill. So like brute force, engineering, and technically Niles. But I got a +1 on Niles even though I don't need it. Yep. Nice. This was a good tip. Alright, now for the brooch. I went for literally just job speed or rarity or chance to duplicate contained essence. There's divination cards, catalyst, currency. You can go for a duplicate of those. There's time before lockdown. There's job speed. Pretty much any acceptable thing through this brooch is fine with me, to be honest. If it does anything, it's useful, and that extra rarity is kind of nice from a foliate brooch. Then on the weapons, I just went for job speed. Just rolled job speed on all of them. Super easy. Speeds up their jobs, and makes heist faster. And you could also go for technically the purity of ice on the gear by going for a specific one, but I didn't worry about that for this event. Yeah, so just job speed, and then maybe duplicate like essences or currency or something nice. Tip number 11. I recommend to level up your crew job levels because it increases their perk effect and their job speed. So, like, Karst didn't start at 40%. Gianna's not 35% at the beginning. You want to level these up. The main skill of each person, so Deception for Gianna, Lockpicking for Karst, Brute Force for Tibbs, Agility for Tulina, Counter Thaumaturgy for Niles, Nenit is Perception, Huck, then Vindiri Demolition, and Isla is Engineering. And then also, when you have a level 5 skill, and you run a level 1 contract, so one that has an engineering level 1 and you really use a level 5, you'll actually have increased job speed because you're over skilled for the job. Where if you were doing a level 5, you have the normal job speed of your level 5 skill, but you're too good for this level 1. That's actually a thing. Tip number 12. Level 5 contracts should have more reward rooms and actual reward, like loot chests to open in the reward rooms than their counterpart level 1. So the level 5s are in fact better than the level 1s drastically for loot. There is actually different value of tip number 13. This is still tip number 12. So there's actually different value of the heist target. So this one has a moderate value and it'll show you 1218. This one is 2,736 for wait, I did it wrong. How did I do that? High value is 1563. Then it's 2,736 for precious. And then priceless, 4,690 for the Sword of the Inverse Relic. So you really are looking for those. And then if you had a choice, you'd rather do your priceless first, then your precious, to have as many rogue markers as possible for doing your blueprints. Because if you can get 4,000 from a single one, that's disgusting. Tip number 13. You can go to Wakano and reveal blueprints. Boom. So you can see here, I have 3 unrevealed wings. I like to reveal all the wings, so what I would do is use my Gianna reveals. I don't have any right now, so I won't use it as an example, but I would click, reveal these 3. You have a discount of 45% on the full wing. This is really good because if you didn't, you'd have to pay 4,000. So just on one, yeah, it's huge. And then for the single rooms, it's only 500 to 1,000 for Wakano, and so it's actually really cheap to like it's just the single rooms are pretty cheap. So he has a ton of reveals where you don't have that many with Gianna, and these are the big ones you see, 4,000 versus 800. So you'd rather spend your Gianna on the biggest click and have Volcano for the rest. Yeah, so highly recommend using Gianna. Okay, so then you can get the big one and use Volcano for the small rewards. Tip number 14, what rooms to unlock? For this event, I unlocked currency, unique, gem, divination cards, and sometimes essence. I skipped breach, blight, abyss, prophecy, harbinger, fragments, weapon, armor, maps, jewelry, unless they were already unlocked for free. Then I would still open them for the extra monsters for XP, but yeah, I generally wouldn't, like, if I saw this one, I wouldn't spend the extra rogue markers on opening a blight or a breach or an armor. It only if they were open for free. We'd want the 2 divs, maybe the talisman, and the delirium for sure. I didn't mention that. I definitely unlock delirium as well. Yes. Now, tip number 15. So, actually, this blueprint is called Enchanted Armaments. My first 6 link came from an Enchanted Armaments. So we went to the end of an Enchanted Armaments, and I saw this 6 link, this body armor, and it said all sockets are linked. It was a 4-socket, 4 link. All sockets are linked, and I was like, wait, if I just 6-socket it, won't it turn into a 6 link? Chat says yes, so I did it. Easy 6 link. Did another Enchanted Armament, got another 6 link with defense modifiers have increased effect. Have another 6 link that I got from a div card, so you can do armor nodes or divination cards, and you could get the Dapper Prodigy card that gives you an item level 100 6-link body armor, for example. That's really cool, and that's how I got my 3 6-links in this event. So armor nodes, div nodes, divination nodes, and also Enchanted Armaments at the end is very good for getting 5 and 6 links as the final reward. So if you have a blueprint of Enchanted Armament and you just haven't been running it, you should probably try it and use my tips for revealing and use my tips for all that stuff with using Gianna to help get the discount and everything. I hope this video has given a lot of tips and tricks to everyone who's playing the Endless Heist event. Hope this helps any of you during your leveling. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed all these tips. Hope it's impactful. Hope it's huge. This is my build for now. This is how my Endless Heist has been going. We got to 93. I didn't focus that much on the build, mostly just the heist and what you could do to level up faster and all the tips and tricks you need for this event. But now I give you a quick TLDR on my build. Basically, we're a zombie build, 6 link. I use the zombie. I got a 21 of it. I actually have a 2020 anomalous zombie as well, and I've now switched to a 21. I got a 21 Spectre, which was pretty cool. But yeah, Divergent Multi-Strike I found. Damage on full life, Ruthless, minion damage, melee phys. I can't use Brutality because we're Monogrill's Grasp using the fire explosions. I showed you really great clear with it. We also got 100% more phys damage on it instead of 80. Fucking sick. This is actually my second one. I got 2. One from the div, the death that gives you Monogrill's Grasp, and I also found one, and the one I found, I divined it 3 times and got 96. That's pretty cool. But then we found one in the div, got 100. Easy game. Found Victario's Charity, and to make it give you frenzy charges, the way this works is I use Necromantic Aegis, so the shield is equipped to my minions instead of me. So when my zombies hit, they generate frenzy charges to nearby allies, and they're also getting power charges on kill. It does work. And then I found that they're hitting, giving me frenzy charges, and these frenzy charges get consumed by the phase run, which increases the duration of the phase run by 100%, which actually really helps my permanent phase run, because without it, it's only 3.92. It's kind of like having the Carnage Chieftain monkeys, but it's actually more frenzy charges than that. It's even better. So that was big damage, because that's frenzy charges, power charges in our build, and it just took 3 points in our shield. It's kind of like having another wand, but we didn't have to have a wand. We found a Victario's Charity, and then the rest of the gear is just like life, reses, attributes, pretty boring. But one thing I did do is I got a bone helmet. I crafted the chest plate with this weird essence that gives mana reservation efficiency of skills on the body armor. So then with that and this small cluster I found, I got a 2 passive small cluster that I crafted with uncompromising, so the determination mana reservation efficiency. It allows me to fit extra skitterbots, unbound ailments, which you wouldn't normally be able to fit in the build because of mana, and I have only 46 extra mana, which is enough for our build, and it actually works. It's sick. Being able to have we have vitality, purity of elements, skitterbots, determination, and defiance mana. This is nice extra damage. I liked it a lot, and it helps. It should affect the explosions as well, the explosion damage, which is better than, for example, just pride, which also this is less mana reservation than that too. Really happy with where our build's at. These are my flasks. I did an instant hinder. The hinder is not important. It's mostly the instant divine. Then I did 7 charges when you're hit by an enemy. Granite. 3 charges when you're hit by an enemy. Jade. 7 charges when you're hit by an enemy. Quartz. 4 charges when you're hit by an enemy with increased armor. Quicksilver. That's really good. And then the tree. Pretty normal. Exactly what I had put out, I'm pretty sure, except for maybe the full constitution wheel I think I took. And then I have these 2 ghastly jewels, life blind, life taunt, res. Very simple, very easy. These are my Pantheon, my ascendancy, and I went for the uncompromising small cluster jewel, and the 1 thief's trinket that I'm using that I found at 60, still using it. Chance to contain more valuable uniques, so you could get like headhunter, etc. Then I have augments turning into chaos, sure, and extra abyss items. I was wondering if you could find a Stygian Vice. I've only been finding ghastly jewels, so I don't know. I don't think you can. It would be pretty insane if you could. I don't think you can. It might be possible, but really lucky. I don't know though. And either way, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed this TLDR of my build update for my zombies. And I'll have a link in the description for the POB, and I hope you guys enjoyed these 15 tips for the Endless Heist event. Good luck on your leveling. I hope you guys have some great luck with your drops, and I'll see you guys in today's stream. Bye!